What's going on with America? Oh boy. Oh my lord. What does this say? Americans are burning PTO just to sleep instead of travel. 43% of millennials admit they've used paid vacation days to stay in bed. Ooh. Sounds about right, and you get to save money, right? Oh, you're so tired. Yeah, travel in this economy, what gives? Okay, they made a little article. I'm very curious to read this. American burn PTO to stay home and sleep, report reveals. A new survey has revealed that many US workers are spending their vacation days catching up on sleep instead of traveling. The report conducted by AmeriSleep asked more than 1,200 Americans how they used their paid time off over the past year. Over a third admitted that they used some of their PTO just to rest at home. The rate was highest amongst millennials at 43%, followed by Gen X at 34%, Gen Z at 33%. That's because they haven't been in the workforce for long enough. I am sure Gen Z will go grow more. While only 20% of boomers said they'd taken days off for sleep. I think I can explain why this happens. I don't think people are actually scheduling vacations just to take naps all day. I think what's actually happening is people are calling into work because they're fucking exhausted and then just go back to bed. I don't think it's dedicated like, I'm gonna go and sleep off my 2 weeks. Or, actually, I just thought of this. Or, they could be doing what I used to do. When I used to work a retail job before I was a VTuber, there were days that I hated it so much. Like days where I really didn't want to go to work. I would just wake up to my alarm, sit up in my bed, and just sit there like having this like mental battle about whether or not I should call in. I wasn't like sick. I wasn't like with the flu. I didn't feel icky. I didn't have my period or something. I didn't feel bad. I slept fine. But I really just didn't want to go to work because it fucking blows. Like, I hated my job, right? And I'm sure there's a lot of people that had to go through it too. Like, yeah, is it worth it? A quick time event? You're hitting the X's in your head like boom, 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 boom. It's like, do I wanna? No, I shouldn't. Oh, but I have to work. Oh, I have bills to pay. I think, here's my take. I think personally that the reason this is happening is because people don't see value in their work. They don't see a purpose. I think there's a lot of different causes for this. First off, we've been in an employer's market for forever. There are more people than jobs, which means on average, people are getting less raises. And they're also getting laid off more over frivolous shit because they're easily replaced. Oh, you work at McDonald's? You didn't put the guy's fries in the bag the correct way? We'll just fire you and then move on. Second of all, here's a kicker. There's a lot of nothing jobs that serve zero purpose, at like office jobs. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I know. You guys probably work at corpos. You know exactly what I mean. They send a few emails a day or do some monotonous task for 8 hours a day that could easily be done by AI. Like, I don't know, answering a fucking email and saying, hey guys, like whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, I think we watched a how money works video about it. They create these nothing jobs to secure government grants or something. You know what I'm talking about? Like the nothing jobs. Like the 80% Elon fired from Twitter. Yes, absolutely. Those exist in massive big corpo jobs. Thirdly, this is another thing. I think the corporatization of these jobs in the modern world has slowly made even like really important jobs feel this way. This might be a hot take, hear me out. But I would imagine that even nurses, firefighters, EMT, paramedics, cops, engineers, lawyers, even if you work at a really important job like this, corporal borpos can and will suck the life out of you. Because the goal is no longer to help people or make a difference. It's to make money. You know, we need money, Arthur. We need money. I think even these people that do these super important jobs, like doctors and nurses and firefighters, can start to feel like their job doesn't actually mean anything. And all of this is a big reason I think people like millennials that have been in the workforce for a good amount of time, probably like what, 10, 15 years now, like the younger ones, they're experiencing burnout. Maybe even longer, depending on when you started work. And all of this is so bad. And that's why burnout is why you just sometimes just randomly call into work because you hate it. At least that's what it was for me. I would sit up, I'd be like, oh my god, how much PTO do I have? And then I do like the mental math in my head. And then, do you know what's freaky? There was another thing that I did. So you know how PTO works? For every like 8 hours you bank like X amount. It's different for every job, so I can't remember exactly, but for every 8 hours, and then you do the math for like, if I work 3 months, then this is how much PTO I'm gonna rack up if I don't take any days off in the next 3 months. Does that make sense? I would do that math and it would stress me out. God, I hated it so much. Experts say the trend highlights how burnout and financial pressures are shaping how employees view time off. Sleep coach Rosie explained that rest has become a necessity, not a luxury, while financial literacy instructor Alex described the numbers as a worrying sign of a society that is largely overworked. That's another huge point, man. People are staying at home and catching up on sleep because who the hell has money to go on a vacation? Like, really, man? I also think that, like, I think that working too much is that big of a problem. Sorry, I don't think working too much is that big of a problem as long as it's worth it, right? As long as you're making games, saving money, and hopefully able to buy a house someday, the problem is that people are being so fucking overworked just to live paycheck to paycheck. I know some of you probably had parents who worked like 2 to 3 jobs just to make ends meet, which is like fucking awful. You're working yourself to the bone just to keep a roof over your head. And then they come home and they need to make dinner, do their laundry, keep their house clean, go to the gym, take a shower. Don't forget to commute to and from the gym if you fucking go to the gym in that way. And then you have to go to work, and then maybe if you have time for maybe 30 minutes of video games or watching movies or anime or something, and you need your 8 hours of sleep. There's no time for those people to do anything. They can't pursue anything. Like pursuing hobbies, that's considered a luxury. No time for gym. If you have to commute, that blows. I understand, man. That sucks. And then sleep debt becomes a thing. too. My dad works 2 jobs. That was just because 1 job in the winter off. But no, I'm talking like 2 jobs. Like, you are working yourself to the bone. I heard it from plenty of friends when I was in middle school of parents being like, yeah, my dad works 2 jobs and my mom works a job and we're just kind of like floating by. And I'm like, what the fuck? Holy shit. And there's so many people, like millions of people in America and probably outside of it that have to go through that. I think it's far better than what it used to be. Apartment living commodities, people just get home and want to be lazy because that is their pastime. They would rather stay home than vacation because they don't want to vacation. Chat! If you had money and you weren't so tired, if you took a PTO off, would you go to Japan? Nah, that's fucking cooked. I'm not gonna stand for that. I have had so many moments in my life where I had money set aside to go on vacation. And I said, I'm too fucking burnt out. I don't want to even think about organizing shit. Talking to someone about, cat sitting my cat or dog sitting my dog. I didn't want to. I don't think this is about people being fucking lazy at all. Sleep on plane. That's not the same. You are rage baiting me if you say sleeping on a plane is the same as sleeping in your bed. Anyway. Rest days and sleep catch up replacing getaways. Instead of spending time off on travel or leisure, the survey suggests many Americans are choosing to stay home, with most using 2 to 3 PTO days each year specifically to recover from exhaustion. Absolutely, I can attest to that. Kevin told Newsweek that balancing work and family demands often leaves people looking for respite to recharge the life battery whenever they can. The finding also revealed that higher earners were more likely to use PTO for sleep than those earning less than $100,000, with travel costs rising and workloads intensifying. Experts believe more workers may opt for staycations in the future rather than having traditional vacations. While vacations aren't going away anytime soon, the survey shows that for a growing number of Americans, the most valuable trip they can take is from the bed to the couch. What else are they supposed to do with their time off if they can't afford to go anywhere? Have you ever taken a vacation for a 2 weeks PTO when you're broke? It's depressing, man. You spend the entire time thinking about how miserable you are, and then that you're wasting your time off when you could be working. Your limited time off, by the way. You feel pressure that you need to be enjoying this time because soon you're gonna have to go back to your cagey, which you don't want to be in the first place. I'm telling you, man. I'm about to take a week off just to sit at home because I'm so burnt out. I'm telling you, even if you can afford it, I think a lot of people also don't understand. If you are taking vacations off in America, the work culture is honestly really toxic in corporations. I've heard from many secondhand accounts from talking to girls at my old work, and they said that sometimes they would take 2 weeks off and their corporation would still harass them to do work. Like, hey, can you come in for a meeting? Hey, can you answer this email real quick? It'll take 2 seconds. And they have to put their fucking foot down. And I'm sure this happens to guys too, but I'm talking about these girls that I talk to. And they would say, oh man, I'm trying to relax on my 2 weeks off and you're fucking breathing down my neck. I don't know how true it is for Europeans, but in America, it's so bad. Yes, fuck off. I'm on a fucking vacation. I am gone. Leave me alone. And then the corpos get mad at you for not answering your phone or your emails. And they're like, oh, come on. It's really quick. Come on. Come on. You're not allowed to wind down. That's why people are like, man, maybe I shouldn't take off, take off on vacation because they're going to need me. It's the guilt as well. It sucks. Cell phones and computers ruined vacations. Yeah, I think they can. I think that would be illegal here in Sweden. It's illegal in a lot of places. I read in France it's illegal for a employee to contact you after hours. You know how in some jobs you would, you know, finish your work day at 5 o'clock? Like, that's legally how, when your cutoff is, right? And then they would say, hey, can you, like, answer this email real quick at 6 o'clock when you're at home? They'd be like, oh, please, like, hey, can you answer this email real quick? It's horrible. Oh, do you guys want to know what I did? I just kind of remembered this. I'm gonna tell you a story. Story time. Like 5 years ago, I used to work for a company that had like 2 forms of PTO. It had a mandatory 2 weeks hours of PTO that reset once a year. I think a lot of you can relate to this. And it had a standard slow accumulating PTO that did not reset. I got approached by my boss one day who said, hey, the PTO reset is in 3 months. You need to use your 2 weeks or you're gonna lose it. I was broke. I had no money. Taking 2 weeks off to stay at home and do nothing sounded awful. So you know what I did? I asked for every Friday off for like, I think it was like 2 months. Cause it's not like I could go anywhere, right? Like, I was broke. I couldn't afford it. The point is I think people are coming to realize that using your PTO to take mental health days and sleep in is more beneficial than taking 2-week vacations when they don't have the money to go anywhere. Combined, you know, with the freaking burnout from hating your job. I know a lot of people also don't hate their job, but I think a vast majority do. That makes you fucking wake up in the morning and not want to do anything but go to work, and you end up with a lot of people that are like, you know what, I'm gonna catch up on some sleep, but it's paid time off, but you're losing money when you're going on vacation if you're broke, and then it just, you basically end up with nothing. Like, you like, I don't know how to explain the mentality of having to budget a vacation when you're broke, okay? It's a bit different when you have money for a vacation, but most people do not. PTO is supposed to be paid on those days off. That, you guys don't fucking listen to me. You guys don't listen to me. So you'd rather stay home and save money. You can't afford you can't afford to go on a vacation in the first place. This happen more often. I stay home in the EU. Yeah, I mean, why would you? Just sleep it off. I have an option to buy PTOs. That's cool. So if I'm not going anywhere, I'd rather not take an entire 2 weeks off just to sit at home and remind myself, hey, I should be working right now. Do you guys not understand how the mentality works? I don't know. That's how I thought about it. I was very stressed out. Staying at home for 2 weeks doing nothing is kind of miserable. If you're still in the same space and you're not outside doing something, I think it does stress you out. Yeah. Many people are also irresponsible and spend too much money on shit and complain about being broke. No, not that many. I think if you sat and stream for like, you know, a couple of days, we've watched enough videos where it's not people's fault. I know that there are people, obviously, that are broke for their own faults, but I don't think a lot of them are. I think a lot of people are just kind of in a really bad position. For me personally, I just didn't have a very high-paying job. It was what it was. Also, it depends on where you live, and you look at the economy. I'm not gonna get into it, but you get my point. Get into Labubu debt! Fuck! Guys, I'm gonna spend my money on a Labubu instead of vacation. Ugh. Drive. I don't drive a new Grand Cherokee. You should see the old beater that I had, man.